So we're on. Good morning.
Good.
Good to see you all. My name is James Twyman. I was at the beach a little longer than expected. Ta-da! Good morning, everyone. My name is Jim Lee, and I've been the Minister of the Month here at Namaste for the month of May, and this is my last day. James is away. Where is James? He is Portland, Oregon, with his granddaughter, taking care of her this week. And so he asked me to fill in, and there's no filling in for James. What I am here to do is just coordinate this wonderful energy that's here so that we can all have a wonderful experience. And so I want to start off by a opening, centering energy field. And so if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. You don't have to. What you do need to do is open up your heart and just relax into this moment in such a way that our full awareness is here now. Not about the past, not about what's getting ready to happen, but right here. And in this moment, let's do two things. One is flooded with love in this moment. And in this moment, let us receive love that the universe is blessing us with in this moment. Take a full deep breath and exhale. The sweetness now is carrying on to our very body. Every cell is now nurtured by it. We send this loving energy throughout all of Ahihikin, this whole area, but we're not stopping there. We are blessing this entire planet. This love knows no boundaries and has no limits because it's everywhere present. And with that now, we open our hearts even more as we fill the entire universe, the cosmos, with this love. And let's feel this love coming right back to us. Multiply, running over with blessings. And so it is. And so let it be. So it's a little intimidating sitting in the spot where James sits. And the thing of it is, I'm inviting spirit to support me because I don't really have a full agenda. I just have a direction that I'm pointing in. So back before the Council of Nicaea in 322, the Christian movement at that particular time had a different flavor to it. The early so-called Christians were actually mystical Jews coming from a Gnostic tradition. And these mystical Jews at the time were led by several people, and one of them was the Apostle Paul. And in the book of Acts, they called themselves the Way. And these mystical Jews looked at Jesus' life. They did not pay much attention to his history and who he was as a man. His life was the way to enlightenment. And then I was watching this TV series called The Mandalorian. And it is an offshoot of Star Wars. And it predates Star Wars as they got a little baby Yoda in the series. And this group called the Mandalorians were these people who were dedicated to a particular path. And they had these codes of ethics and these standards that they lived by, and they all were just feeling it's almost like the military, Bob. Yeah, just really. And when they would make a decision based upon their code of ethics, one of them would say, "This is the way." Then, one by one, everybody in the room, they followed that was the code that they would do. They would say, "This is the way." So I combined the early Christians, the Mandalorians, and the Courts and Miracles together, stirred it up, and this came to me. Love is the way. That's our code of ethics. That's our guidelines. This is our center. This is our direction. This is our path. And metaphysically, Jesus the Christ represents love. So all of it fits together. Now, for the past year, I've been really applying it, some days better than others. I would say love is the way. I would say it at least, I would say 100 times a day when I would just make a decision. And when really things can get tough and I don't know which way to go, I'll say love is the way. When someone triggers me, and I get triggered, sometimes man's inhumanity to man can get under my skin a little bit. I try to realize that that's an illusion, and but it's like, no, don't hurt the babies. And so then I stop away. Wait, hold it, Jim. Love's the way. Give love to yourself. Love the condition, the situation. And that is the way to work through it. So right now, as I come here to you all, I've been here for a month and I just recently retired. And I've backed away from a lot of logic, reasoning, organizing, and doing things. I'm just saying now that love is the way. Love brought me here. It's clear about that, and it looks like I'm going to stay. But the major thing that is really happened is I am going through this retirement just as of, it's 6 weeks now that I've been retired. I'm saying that more and more as I have found that I want to be guided by that more than anything else. And so what I'm looking at today is for us to take this on, like not newly, but I just love the advanced awareness of everyone that's here. And everybody has their mark. I'm just inviting us to whatever we have to go beyond that particular boundary of what love is and what it can do, and just expand and just see what happens. 2 things about it when I say love is the way. 1, have to surrender, release and let go. The next thing, I really have to trust. And I trust it because love has 2 important qualities with it that really inspire me, and that is grace and mercy. So now with all of this, I'm saying we really can't lose in anything that we do. So let's take a look. First of all, I would like for Vicky to share a little bit. Hopefully she's there. And on this or any other topic that you feel so moved, because I'm feeling that right now, whatever is said in this space will be exactly what we need. So is Vicky there?
Oh, yes, Reverend Jim, I'm right here.
Thank
And
you.
it's so wonderful to see you back in that chair. You fit it very well. You're right at home there. And I love your message. And I'm going to take on your message because love is the way. You know, through all these past 50 years or so, that many of us here in this Zoom room and that come later, we've been doing this material in one form or another, whether it's been Unity or A Course in Miracles or Joel Goldsmith or whatever it's been. And, you know, lately the language is on non-duality and oneness and all the rest of it. But the bottom line, experientially, is love. It is that simple. And when we complicate it, it's because we're not willing to let it be simply love. Love that we receive, love that we're willing to express, love for ourselves, love for each other. The bottom line is love, and love is the truth, the way, the life, the light. And you sure are the way, brother. You sure are lit up. And I want to thank you, because sometimes it seems, oh, it's so redundant. We'll say the same thing so many ways, so many times. But I need to hear it so many ways, so many times myself. And it's in the giving of it, and when I can hear it from myself or my brothers, that slowly I feel how I'm becoming that way. And I feel we all are. We recognize it in one another. We can see it and witness it, because the answer isn't a reaction. It's a breath. It's not a jumping in to respond. It's a breath that allows love to come in and somehow extend out of us. I had an example, and this is a good example of how it is always love, even when we think it isn't. I have a friend who is very much more a non-duality person and, you know, thinker, and who's asking the question and all that. And recently she's had some wonderful experiences where she's been called in to be helpful and to be literally of service to different members in her life, family members, friends, and whatever. And she's responded really well to it, but it's not her MO. It's not her natural way. And it is for many of us, especially those of us in this room. Many of us are devotional. We do a lot of service. You know, it's kind of how we've been brought up. But this particular sister of mine hasn't been. And she said a couple of things. And the first thing she said that was so beautiful, and I'm not going to get it exactly right, but the message was, oh my gosh, she said, in my helping others, love is revealed to me. Love is revealed. And it is. In her answering the call, love came into her awareness. And she wasn't so disposed to want to go help this, but she felt inclined enough to do it. And she's telling me, oh my gosh, she said, I can't believe it. It gives me energy. I feel so much love. I said, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing that. And that's exactly what happens, because it's revealed as us, in us, within us, through us, as one another. We see it in one another. So that was the first thing she gave me. The second thing she gave me was very important, because one of the principles of love is that there's no sacrifice in love. It's not obligatory. It's not dutiful service. It's not, I have to, I'm obligated. It's not that. Love is a generous pouring forth and an embrace of just giving whatever we got, however it might be helpful. So she said to me, and this was just this morning, she said, well, one of these people that she's been involved with helping called her and she said, well, I don't want to go do that. And I just don't want to do that. And I said, well, perhaps you're not called to do that. You're called to love, right? Aren't we just called to love? And so we were kidding. We were saying, okay, it's a hold your horses moment. Love doesn't mean you rush out the door and react thinking it's love, because that's not what love is. Sometimes love is simply accepting ourselves where we are at. Sometimes love is just being gentle and saying, you know, it's not in my heart right now to do that. And is love the way? And perhaps that moment of love, because often what we do when someone asks us to do something we don't want to do, we turn them into the bad guy and we reject them. When what we want to do is recognize their divinity and know that everyone, just as we are and our brother, is already fully cared for. And if it's our hands that may be called in to be helpful, so be it. But if it's not our hands, there's no loss, because everyone is perfectly cared for. We're cared for in the field of love that we're born in, nurtured in, survived in, sustained in, that we are. So this was the second thing, that when the inclination isn't the overt expression of love, just hold your horses a minute. Don't jump into a reaction because you think that's what love would do. Love would meet us where we are and take care of us where we are and accept us where we are. And then if it is in the interest of love, then step forward and help in one way or another, it will come to us through our hearts. We can trust that because we haven't negated anyone. We didn't negate our brother. We didn't negate ourselves. There's no loss. There's only a natural recognition of the love that we are, that our brother is, and not naming it as a particular behavior. It must be A, B, or C. The way can be anything. The way is to recognize the light, to enjoy it, to delight in it, to rejoice literally in it, regardless of the forms that we're being called through. So those were the two gifts that my very dear non-duality friend, who's not so inclined to, emotional or devotional style so much. And this is the third thing I realized. I was thinking, oh, hold on. Oh, how beautiful that this plan, this is the greater plan, the Holy Spirit's plan, the plan of salvation, whatever we call it. That plan has for each of us the perfect setups for our awakening to love. All of us, each of us, together, individually, however, it's a setup. And it's right in the day we're in. It's right here today with all of us here on this Zoom together, right here, you and I and all of us. Here we are. We are in the perfect setup to let love extend through us, as us, through us, as we see it and recognize it in everyone. Know that there's no loss anywhere. Salvation is in our vision of recognition, not in our behavior of fighting the devil and carrying the cross and all the rest of it. So here we are, and I really thank you, Reverend James. It was such a beautiful setup for me. I thank you. And are you going to be here tomorrow? Do we have you tomorrow? We're trying are you leaving?
I'll be back Friday, I believe.
Oh, you'll be here Friday. Darla and Alden will join us Tuesday and Wednesday. And Neil will be Thursday and you will be Friday. So we're good.
Oh, we're good.
We're good. I was just checking it out. All right. And that's the way of love. Thank you, Reverend Jim. So delighted to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you. And so now I would love, I got time for Calico. Calico, are you there? What are your thoughts and inspiration?
I'm here. And, I feel like it's a day of gifts. that we're passing on gifts to each other. And I shared this at the breakfast table, and I just feel like, yeah, it needs to be shared here. I don't know if any of you are watching The Chosen. It's one of my absolutely favorite programs of all time. Yes, Vicki, I see you. It's the life of Jesus. Anyway, Dallas Jenkins is the guy that's writing this, and he's got like 7 years that he's planning on for the life of Jesus. He's only done the first 3, and there's like 12 episodes per year. But I'm giving you a little tip. I love these tips. Get on his mailing list and pay attention when you get his email, because in there, the way he writes this, he puts in one room, he calls it the round table. He has a rabbi, a priest, evangelical, and himself. He's Mormon. And they all discuss from their particular beliefs how this particular episode should go. Highly recommend it. For me, what I'm finding, I was raised Catholic, and I was Catholic before I was even conscious, all right? So I was born into a Catholic family, unconscious. I was unconscious at the time. And watching this and the interplay, because they don't always agree, but it's a very supportive environment to come to agreement, just irregardless of the beliefs that they have. And for me, I'm listening to the priest, and I'm listening to the rabbi, and I'm listening to the evangelical, and I am finding where a lot of my beliefs, the unconscious ones, have come from. And they were formed long before I was conscious. And so it's really beautiful to go, oh, that's where that came from. And it's kind of, the dismantle of it is so much easier when I can get religion out of the way. It's like, well, I was fed this before I had any discernment in my mind. And I just took it on of, you're right. And then I continued living my life, not with a conscious belief that this is a Catholic way of doing things, because that wasn't it. I don't even call myself a Christian, but I do. I'm into love. That's what I'm into. And if I can see where these beliefs were formed, a lot of time when I'm in my daily routine of life and something comes up and I can see how it's a belief that has impacted me, that I can put it on a shelf somewhere and go, wow, Holy Spirit, help me see this without that belief, because that's no longer helpful. That served me, or didn't, who knows, at a time when I didn't know any of this. But now with discernment, I can go, wow, that belief has impacted me in so many ways. And it's in judgments, they all come out in these judgments, because judgments can only come out if I have a belief about something or someone. So dismantling the belief, the judgments disappear, and I'm more able to love what is. There you go. It's just a little gift from me to you. Pay attention to the emails that you get from Dallas. Click on the round table, because they're fascinating. And he has a round table for every single episode. So now I'm getting geared up. I've watched the Chosen 3 times. I want to watch it again now with the round table right after the episode, so that I can see how this is all being put together by, very different mindsets. But I love Dallas because he's committed to cracking up these concepts of who we think we are. And it's starting with this religious fellowship. And all I can say is, wow, prepare to have your mind blown. Bye,
Thank-
everybody.
I'm ready to have my mind blown. Thank you, Calico. So a couple of things that were said that I really like. Number one, I have found for me that love is so powerful that it can heal anything. And I realized that I have pointed love in a lot of directions, but I didn't point it at myself, my inner wounds, the things that I didn't like, things that I was ashamed of, my judgments, and just all of the stuff that it takes as a human being. I judged myself, and it came to me, why not love all of those parts? Just every part of you. And that has made a significant difference. And when I love it, that doesn't mean I condone it. But just like what was said, I can have another relationship with it, and it can reveal to me why that hurt is there, so that I can even love that. So when I was in IBM, we would go out to an account, and we would always look for what was called the silver bullet. The silver bullet was, what is the one thing that we could say that the customer would buy? It would be, sometimes it would be a silver bullet, sometimes it wouldn't. Well, our silver bullet, the one thing that we can say everywhere, anytime, towards anything is, love is the way. Pointed at ourselves, pointed at our conditions, pointed at the world, and wherever it is, love has a way. So now, Scott, would you like to be able to, would you like to share a song with us? And I came from Vegas, so I use this term a lot. It's dealer's choice, whatever you want to play, okay? And so after Scott sings, I'm just going to come back and just have a closing prayer and just thank all of you all for being here, but also really thank our wonderful Calico and Vicky for sharing such great insights. All right.
Oh, thank you for giving me dealer's choice. First thing I'm going to choose is to leave the craps table. All right, no more puns are coming to my mind. Love is the silver bullet. Love is the only way. Love is the answer to every question, especially when I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the masks I've made that I thought were really me. As I unmask, I find myself here to laugh, and love helps me feel free. Yeah, love is the silver bullet. Love is my true way. I can put down every belief that I held sacred. No, I'm okay. You are okay as well. Let's share heaven give this world hell, and be passionate as anyone else, sharing love while we put all beliefs on the shelf.
So I just want to take a moment to breathe this in. So I'd like to take it with me the rest of the day. So the thought now, if you just take a moment just to relax. And today, let's see if we can commit to as much as we humanly can. Our actions, thoughts, and words can proceed with love is the way, and just see what happens. Let's extend a little bit more today, and where we can trust in it even more and surrender even more, and just see with the beauty that love has in store. So with this now, we are connected in spirit. We're lifted up together, guided together in such a way that if anyone today has a breakthrough with love, the rest of us will feel it. So as you go through the day and you're letting love be the way, feel that the love that you're doing is for you, but also you're feeding the rest of us. We'll pick up on that vibe as well. So we step forward now in a glorious time. So as we leave here today, we can truly say, my God, what a fantastic time to be alive. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Bye, everyone. Thank you for being here. Blessings.
Thank you.
Blessings to you.